This happened about a year after Kenadie passed, and I still don't know how she did it. And I guess I don't need to know how, but this is what she did. My husband told me that it was time for us to get a new car. I agreed with him, but I was really sad because the new car was going to be something that Kenadie had never sat in. She always sat behind me, and it used to annoy me that her knees would hit the back of my seat. And then, of course, once she was gone, I missed that. I was having a really hard time with it, and I said, okay, I told him what kind of a car I wanted, and I made it a really difficult car to find, like the color of the interior and everything. It was very, very particular, and I think I did that on purpose. After he'd been looking for 6 months or so, I connected with my spirit team and with my daughter, and I said, if it's time for me to get a new car, let my husband find the car that's meant for me. He had been checking every single day, and there had been nothing. The very next morning, he looks online, and he was like, yeah, they're all the same cars. And then he goes, wait, there's a new one. And I knew. I was like, oh, that's my car. Sure enough, he listed off every single thing that this car had, and it was exactly the car that I wanted to a T, like to the last dollar, to the last mile. It was a used car, so had the right amount of miles, everything on it. So I knew before we even went to the dealership that we would be trading in my car for this other car. Took everything out of it, took all the floor mats, cleaned the car thoroughly, vacuumed it all out. It was spotless. We drove to the dealership. We checked out my car one more time when we got there, made sure everything was out of it. It was all clear. Decided that, yep, that new car was going to be the one. And before we left, my husband said, should we check the old car one more time and just make sure, even though it had been cleaned out and already thoroughly checked. We walked back to the car, and on the passenger side in the back seat, right where Kenadie always sat, in the middle of the floor mat was a shiny penny. And that was definitely not there before. We would have noticed it. Plus, I'd taken out all of the floor mats, and there had been nothing in the back seat on the drive there. There's no explanation for how that penny got there. I have no idea how she did that, but we have no doubt that that came from our daughter, Kenadie. And then what was really cool is we drove the car home and we stopped at a restaurant. We pulled into the parking lot. It felt like someone kicked my seat. It was like a couple times, so I really felt it. And I looked at Shane and I said, she's still here. We love sharing these stories because we know how important it is to realize that our loved ones still exist after they pass. They're still with us, and they're still riding in the passenger seat.